When the spiritual traveler attains to the stage of greater faith, no trace of hypocrisy is left in him. His actions and deeds are no longer guided by unreliable directives of reason, nor by any apprehension, expediency, or convertism. All his actions are then motivated by inner zeal, hearty inclination, and real love. Once the spiritual traveler attains to the stage of greater faith, he should be ready for greater emigration. There are two sides of this emigration. One is bodily emigration, which means giving up social dealings with the wicked, and the other is emigration of heart, which means not making friends with them. A spiritual traveler not only has to abandon all habits, customs, and usages which prevent him from pursuing the path of Allah, but has also to dislike them from the core of his heart. Such customs and usages have been mostly imported from the countries of the infidels. A man living in a material society becomes a prisoner of many customs and habits prevalent among the worldly people, forming the basis of their social dealings. For example, it has become customary to regard a person keeping quiet at an academic discussion as ignorant. Many people consider it a mark of their eminence to sit at the head of a meeting or to go ahead of others while walking in company. Fine talk and flattery are called good manners, and a behavior contrary to these customs is described as bad manner and vulgarity. The spiritual traveler should, with the help of Allah, ignore such odd customs and whimsical ideas. In this regard, he should not fear anybody and pay no attention even to the criticism of those who call themselves great scholars. There is a report in Kulayni's Jami on the authority of Imam Ja'far Sadiq, peace and blessings be upon him, that the Holy Prophet has said, "There are 4 pillars of infidelity: greed, fear, resentment, and anger." In this tradition, fear means an apprehension that people would be angry if their wrong ideas and wrong customs were opposed. In short, the spiritual traveler should say goodbye to all those habits and traditions, customs, and usages which obstruct his advancement towards Allah. The Gnostics call this attitude madness, because mad people also take little interest in and pay little attention to the popular habits and traditions and do not care what the other people would say. A madman sticks to his own ways and does not fear any opposition. Following his success in immigration and getting rid of the prevailing customs, the spiritual traveler enters the field of major jihad, which means a fight against the devilish hordes. Even at this stage, the spiritual traveler is still a captive of his lower self, overwhelmed by his passions and low desires, and perplexed by apprehensions and worries, anger and disappointments. If anything that is not to his liking happens, he is upset and feels hurt. In order to overcome all his worries, griefs, and pains, the spiritual traveler should seek divine aid and crush the forces of apprehension, anger, and lust. On getting rid of worldly botherations and worries, he will enter the world of greater Islam. Then he will feel as if he was prevailing over the whole world, was safe from death and effacement, and was free from every kind of conflict. He will find in himself a purity and glamour not connected with this humble world. At this stage, the devotee becomes totally unconcerned with his transient world, as if he was dead. Now he begins a new life. He lives in the world of humanity, but sees everything in the shape of the angelic world. Material things can no longer do him any harm. As he has reached the middle stage of self-resurrection, veil is gradually lifted from before his eyes, and he can see many hidden things. This station is called that of Greater Islam. The Quran clearly refers to it in the following words: "Is he who was dead, and we have raised him to life, and set for him a light, wherein he walks among men, like him who is in utter darkness whence he cannot come out? Thus is their conduct made fair seeming for the disbelievers." Surah Al-Anfal, verse 122. Whoever does right, whether male or female, and is a believer, we shall surely quicken him with good life, and we shall pay them a recompense in proportion to the best of what they used to do. Surah An-Nahl, verse 97. It should be kept in mind that what the devotee views in this state may create in him a sense of false pride, and as a result of that, his worst enemy, which is his lower self, may begin to resist him. There is a tradition which says, "The most deadly enemy of yours is your lower self, which is within you." In these circumstances, the devotee is in danger of being involved in greater infidelity unless he is helped and protected by Allah. The following tradition refers to this kind of infidelity. The lower self is the greatest idol. It was this idol worship for being protected from which the Prophet Ibrahim prayed to Allah when he said, "Save me and my sons from worshipping idol." Evidently, it is unimaginable that Prophet Ibrahim would ever worship any fabricated idols. It was this kind of idol worship from which the Holy Prophet also sought refuge when he said, "Allah, I seek refuge in you from hidden polytheism." Therefore, the devotee should wholeheartedly acknowledge his humbleness and completely do away with the idea of self-conceit from his heart, so that he may not commit greater infidelity and may succeed in attaining to Greater Islam. Some Gnostics have throughout their life avoided even the use of the word "I." Some others attributed all that is good to Allah, and only what could not be attributed to Allah they attributed to themselves. They used first-person plural pronoun while talking of a thing that could be attributed to themselves and to Allah both. They derived this method from the story of the Prophet Musa and Khizr. Khizr said, "As for the boat, it belonged to poor people working on the river, and I wished to marry it, for there was a king behind them who was taking every boat by force." Surah Al-Kahf, verse 79.